Uh, the topic I want to bring up is why do you do what you do as a profession? Or at whatever time you are in your life, why are you doing what you're doing? Do you like doing it? Is there some sort of purpose that you think you're achieving by it? Just give us a scoop and just give it to us off the top of your conversation going. I am a school teacher. I teach middle school in the USA. I have been doing that for over a dozen years now, and that's the only grade level I have taught. It's probably the only grade level I am going to teach. In the USA, middle school is typically grades 6 through 8. So usually I'm dealing with kids between the ages of about 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Sometimes they get up into 15, but not all. Fascinated with this age group of human beings. How can you stand to deal with that? And I guess it has to do somewhat with the my own energy level. I like to move around, and I like to associate with these kids. But I like watching what I see. I mean, I see the changes. I'm talking about 1,000+ kids, and I see the change right in front of my eyes, and I'm able to watch these children develop, and it is really phenomenal. Just in a few short years, to see them in the 6th grade, and then in the 7th grade, and then in the 8th grade, it is really something else. I've always enjoyed explaining things, show and tell, and putting on a bit of a performance, if you will. And so that's probably one of the reasons that I teach. I teach for my benefit, primarily. And of course, I'm interested that the kids challenge for me to study my audience and to craft a lesson plan that will in some way influence them in a positive way. I can't control what they learn. I leave learning purely in the ballpark of the course. I use my own skills to put together the lessons that will help enhance their learning. So, for some students, they're very visual. They need to be shown a lot of things. Some students handle the lecture very well. Some need short spats of information. Some really prefer to work in a textbook. They like some children. They love working in a group. Others don't. They prefer to work by themselves. But for me, I enjoy looking at that audience, looking at what I have, and putting together a lesson plan, and then, testing myself. And then at the end, I like looking at what I've done and asking myself, well, how did that go? And then I like revising my lesson, improving it. But, it's a continual thing, because you get a different group. Year after year after year, and we all know that children at this age, they're changing all the time. 1 minute they're up, 1 minute they're down, 1 minute they're your friend, 1 minute they're your worst enemy. I'm able to support the life that I choose to live with the salary that I have, so I'm content with that. I love my hour around 5 in the morning, and I get ready to go to work. I'm kind of a slow starter, if you will. I have to drink plenty of coffee and get on the road, and then my commute takes me about 30 to 40 minutes, but I like that time because I can get a good broadcast on the radio of the news and pretty much get a full scoop of what's going on. Be at my workplace around 8 o'clock, and I start as soon as I walk into the building. I am busy from the time I walk in to the time I walk out. I have a very strict policy. Everybody at my school knows that I start work on time and I stop on time. I don't take work home, and while I'm there, I give it everything that I've got. And it's a very self-fulfilling thing. I teach home economics. A lot of cooking goes on in my class. I watch all of the stars on TV, the Rachel Rays, the Paula Deans, and the Emeralds and everything. And I like reading up on their stories to kind of tap into how it is they became who they are today. And I like sharing that information with my kids. But I love to cook. I have always loved to cook. Now, the kind of cooking I do is the kind I like to get into the kitchen and experiment, to see what happens when you mix this and mix that together, when you put this in the oven, put it on the top of the stove. And so my classroom is a lot like a workshop, a laboratory, and that's the way I present it to the kids. A lot of times I say, kids, let's come up here and put this together and let's see what happens and see what we get. And sometimes we don't even have a name for it. And sometimes we come up with our own recipe and we come up with our own name for the product, because what I am trying to do is to ignite the minds of the kids. I'm not trying to just spoon feed, I'm not trying to make home economic majors out of them as much as I'm trying to make learners and thinkers, and trying to equip them with skills that are useful right now. We also talk about, we deal with lessons about personal finance, budgeting, child care. We talk about emergency situations, a healthy home, a healthy environment, grocery store, to see how long it takes them to find 100 items and get the prices of them all. And then we do some time studies, we do some grocery studies. Sometimes we repeat the same study, but say this week, and then we skip a couple weeks and we repeat the same study and then we compare the two studies to see what our results are. I have them design a home, and they have to determine the square footage of it. They have to tell me where the closets are, where the doors are, and where the living room is, where the bedroom is, the bathroom, what kind of floors are going to be in this house. All the permanent stuff that's not so easy to change. I have them design it to their own liking. I think it's okay to let them dream a bit, but while they're dreaming, I'm hoping that they'll study this matter and develop some realistic taking care of children. What does it cost to do this? And sometimes we have, depending on their age group, we have some of those discussions of whether or not to have children and why, and we focus on relationships, we focus on individual identity and career aspirations, and that's to cover a lot of things. And I love variety, so I go into my classroom. I love what I do. I read somewhere that if you love what you're doing, you never have to go to work. The thing I like about my job is that I don't feel like I'm working. I go there and I feel like I'm getting a lot of work done. I do have to really focus on, once again, I say it's me. It's all about me. What it is about me is that I am able to create or to put together lessons that my students can benefit. That is the secondary consequence of everything that I do. And then I like to look good in the presence of my peers. I like to put on a good impression, and I'm pretty good. I've gotten wonderful evaluations from my superiors. I'm well known within the county that I teach, and I have a very good reputation there, and so that's kind of an ego thing too. I go to state conventions in my field, and people know who I am. I have a website. I do everything I can to enhance what I do. But then again, I say it's just one of those things that I can put myself into day after day, and I'm having a lot of fun and getting paid. Everybody at work knows what I do during the summer. I go to the Philippines. They know why I go. They know that I'm married to a man that's down there. They know all about that. The subject of my being gay really doesn't come up. I don't bring it up because, like I said, I'm there to be a professional. But if anybody asks me the question, I try to give them a polite answer and let's move on and steer the conversation in another direction. My policy has always been not to mix business with pleasure, not to mix my work life with my private life. But of course, you have those little gray areas where you kind of let out a little information here and a little information there to kind of humanize everything. Like I said, I love what I do, and I don't see myself doing anything else until I retire, which is going to be a good number of years down the way. And like I said, I love the hours. I love my vacation time. It is really just the profession for me. In fact, when I went to college, that was my goal, was to become a home economics teacher. And it was surprising to everyone, but you'll have to hear about that in another video. But anyway, why do you do what you do? Why do you do what you do day after day? What is your point? What are you trying to accomplish? Tell us all about it, will you? Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.